Hello there and welcome to Black Jackal Gaming. Today we're going to take a look at the Dread Mob, which is the vehicle and walker detachment in the new Orks Codex. So the majority of the buffs in this codex and this detachment are really aimed towards vehicles for ranged and melee attacks. And there's quite a few good enhancements that you can have for mechs and their units as well. The stratagems do really ramp up your damage output, especially for your vehicles and your walkers, which is really nice. And there's a great stratagem that gives you mortal wounds and lets you move out of phase. The detachment is a little bit on the random side at times, but when the stars do align, it can really shine and pump out the damage. Taking a look at the detachment rule, it's called Try That Button. So each time a mech, walker or Grotz vehicle unit in your army is selected to shoot or fight, you get to roll a d6. And now until the end of that phase, any weapons equipped will have one of the three possibilities. So if you roll a 1 or a 2, you get sustained hits 1. If you roll a 3 or a 4, it's lethal hits. And if you roll a 5 to a 6, you get critical wound, increase the armor penetration by 2. So this is each phase you want to fight as well. You do have the option to select the ability you want rather than just rolling randomly, but this will give you the hazardous keyword. If you do already have the hazardous keyword, then when you roll to see if you fail it, it will be on a roll of a 1 or a 2 rather than just a 1. As well as this, your Gretchen unit will gain the battle line keyword, so you can take up to 6 of them. Taking a look at the enhancements, the first one is Smoky Gubbins. This is for a mech model only. Now the models in the bearers unit gain the stealth ability, so this is -1 to range attacks, which is really nice. Then there's Super Glowy Thing. This is for your mech model only. So in your command phase, you can select one enemy unit within 18 inches and it has to be visible to the bearer. And then you roll a d6. So on a 1 to 2, they take a battle shock test. On a 3 to 4, they get d3 mortal wounds. And on a 5 to 6 until your next command phase, anytime that enemy unit makes an attack, you get to subtract 1 to the hit roll. So this is actually quite nice as well if you target a really tough to move unit that you're going to go into combat with. They're then going to get -1 to hit in combat, and if they do manage to survive in the next turn, they're going to get -1 in combat and potentially shooting as well, which is really nice. Next up we have Press It Faster. This is for your mech model only, so each time the bearer's unit is selected to shoot, you get to roll another d6. Now this is for your press the button, so you get to have 2 rolls at the same time for this unit. You do have to bear in mind though that if you roll a duplicate effect, it doesn't have any additional effect whatsoever, so this does have the ability to not go off as often as you like. Then you have Git Finder Goggles. This is for mech model only. Range weapons equipped by the models in the bearer's unit, they gain the Ignores Covers keyword, which is very nice. Over to stratagems, first we have Clanking Claws. This is a battle tactic for 1 CP, and this is active in the fight phase or on one of your walker units. So each time you use this stratagem, you can choose to push the button. Until the end of the phase, you get +2 to the strength of melee weapons. And if you do decide to push it, then until the end of the phase, you also get +1 to the damage characteristic as well. Although you do have to bear in mind, anytime you press the button for stratagems, you gain the hazardous keyword for those weapons. Next we have Super Fueled Boiler. This is strategic ploy for 1 CP, and this is for an advancing Ork walker unit. So again, the target is for your walker unit when it's about to advance. So until the end of the turn, you can re-roll any advanced rolls made for this weapon, and range weapons for this unit have the assault ability, which is quite nice, especially in a turn that you call the war. Then we've got Daka Daka Daka. This is a battle tactic for 1 CP, and this is your shooting phase, and this is for an Orks walker unit or Grotz vehicle unit. So every time you use this stratagem, again, you can push the button. Until the end of the phase, reroll a hit of 1. And if you do decide to push the button, you get to reroll the entire hit roll instead. Now this is for ranged weapons, and you will gain the hazardous keyword if you push it, so bear that in mind. Then we have Conniving Runts, strategic ploy for 1 CP. This is in your opponent's movement phase, just after they've ended a normal advance or fallback move. And this is for a Gretchen unit within 9 inches. And it can also not be in engagement range. So you roll a d6, and on a 4+, the enemy unit takes d3 plus 1 mortal wound. And then you can make a movement afterwards as well, a normal movement, so that's your full movement range, which is a really nice stratagem to have, especially for 1 CP. Then we have Bigger Shells for Bigger Gits. This is a battle tactic for 1 CP, and this is for your shooting phase for a mech, walker or Grotz vehicle. So you can decide to push the button with this one as well. Until the end of the phase, each time you make an attack that targets a monster or vehicle, you get +1 to the wound roll. If you decide to push it, you get +1 damage as well. And again, then you gain hazardous. Then we have extra gubbins, battle tactic for 1 CP. This is in your opponent's shooting phase. After a unit has been targeted, if it's a Walker or Grot's vehicle, but it cannot be Titanic, then until the end of the phase, you get to subtract 1 from the damage characteristic, making them all the more durable, which is very nice to have. Over to the buffs and combos. One of the nice little combos you can put together is for Killa Kans, because they come with a very decent melee ability, and they've got a range profile that's not too bad as well. They come with the Can Claw, which is 3 attacks, weapon skill 4, strength 8, -2 AP and 3 damage. And then you're probably going to take the rocket launcher with them. That's quite a good versatile unit to have. It comes with blast, so you get that +1 when you're going into a unit of 5, and then +2 for 10 and 15, 20, etc. This is ballistic skill 4, and it's strength 9, -2 AP, 3 damage. So quite a nice profile, especially when you're taking on Marines. So they do have an ability called Shooty Power Trip. This means you have to roll a d6. On a 1 or 2, you do take mortal wounds, unfortunately. On a 3 to 4, you get +1 strength to your ranged weapons, and on a 5 to 6, you get +1 attacks for your ranged weapons, so quite nice. If you pair it with a mech and keep him close to them, the mech gains lone operative, which is very nice, but it also gives +1 to hit to the Killa Kans, and he can heal D3 wounds per movement phase. And then you can use the Clanking Claws stratagem, which gives you +2 strength in melee, taking you up to a very nice strength 10. And if you push it, you get the +1 damage to your damage 4. Now, if it's in the war, you're getting +1 strength as well. So you will be on that nice 11 strength. And then for your shooting phase, you can use the Daka Daka Daka, which allows you to reroll full hits, which will be very nice for them. And then with the detachment rule, you can either get sustained hits, lethal hits, or critical wounds, or just take the hazarded and choose which one you want. So for this, really, you're getting a substantial amount of strength 9 attacks, and then if you're using the Shooty Power Trip, you might be able to get that +1 strength, putting you on the 10. And then you've got the -2 AP and 3 damage, which is very nice. But if you do get the critical wounds, that'll be 4 AP, which is going to push through a lot of armor. Or lethal hits would be very nice with that damage and AP profile as well. Also, when you're going into combat, you're going to be coming in at your strength 10, potentially strength 11. Then your detachment rule also allows you to get potentially sustained hits, lethal hits, or critical wounds do -2 AP, which is very nice. So for your Can Claws, you're going to be coming in at potentially strength 11. You'll have either sustained lethal hits or an additional 2 AP. So if you get the 2 AP, that's 4 AP, pushing through most armor profiles, and your damage 3. This can really be targeted into your Space Marines, because you're going to be, you got the +1 to your hit roll, so you're hitting on 3s, and then your 2s to wound, and your -4 AP, taking away the save, and you're killing a Marine or a Terminator every time you attack them with your Can Claws, which is very nice. Then your rocket launcher again, you're going to be able to pump that up quite high. You're going to be getting that ballistic skill 3 as well, and you can have the option of having those 4 rerolls with Daka Daka. So you've got a substantial amount of attacks, high strength, high AP, and high damage in both ranged and melee, which is very nice to have. So in conclusion, it is a bit of a swingy detachment, because you are rolling to see what ability you're getting, or you are taking the hazardous keyword as well, which you generally don't want too much. The combinations can be used across all the units in the detachment, so you're not really reliant on just this is your massive damage dealing unit, this is the combo to have. There's lots of different combos that you can put in place using similar stratagems and tactics. The Gretchen are probably pretty much required for this, because the stratagems are so good and you want to be using them. You do want to keep that CP coming, so having that Gretchen holding some objectives and having the ability to farm CP would be very nice. It's actually quite a durable detachment as well, and not only that, it does have a high volume of firepower as well as the strengthened AP, so it can hit really hard whilst taking a punch at the same time, but you might have some limited models on the board. The Big Mech unit is going to be quite interesting in the mega knobs, because you do get access to the detachment rule because you've got the mech keyword, and as well as that you can have the enhancement to give them stealth, which is going to give them -1 to hit, which is going to make them very durable, as well as having that additional damage output through the detachment rule. There's also an interesting combo potentially that needs to be looked into in mechs and looters. If you deploy them in the right way, where they don't really have to move and they can hold on to an objective, they can actually pump out quite a bit of reasonable damage. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, then consider a membership or pop across onto Patreon, where I do a lot of blogging and memes. And if you want a premium membership over there, there's some STLs available as well for terrain and objective markers. Check out these other videos. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.